Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All good to Shri Prabhupada. Welcome to devotees to today's class. Today we'll be discussing from Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Lila chapter 7, verse 33, and the chapter is entitled Lord Chaitanya in 5 Features. It's a very interesting topic. I was just reading the verse right before the class, and I'm looking forward to hear Marge's points on this amazing purport. And of course, the class will be given by His Holiness Candramauli Swami. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you and Srila Prabhupada. And it's all yours, Maharaj.
Haribol.
Haribol Maharaj.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for allowing me to serve you in some small way that I can, Maharaj.
It's not small. For me, it's big.
By your mercy, Maharaj.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Ekta Bali Mana Kucha Karayam Vichar Sanyasa Ashram Prabhu Kaila Angikar. Thus, the Lord accepted the sannyas order of life after full consideration. Purport: there is no need for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to accept sannyas, for he is God himself, and therefore has nothing to do with the material bodily conception of life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not identify himself with any of the 8 varnas or ashrams, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. He identified himself as the Supreme Spirit. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or for that matter, any pure devotee, never identifies with these social and spiritual divisions of life, for devotee is always transcendental to the different gradations of society. Nevertheless, Lord Chaitanya decided to accept sannyas on the grounds that when he became a sannyasi, everyone would show him respect and in that way be favored. Although there was actually no need for him to accept sannyas, he did so for the benefit of those who might think him an ordinary human being. The main purpose of his accepting sannyas was to deliver the Mayavadi sannyasis. This will be evident later in this chapter. You're going to like this, Bhavesh. This is nice. Srila Siddhbhakti Siddhanta Saraswati has explained the term Mayavadi as follows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to the material conception of life. A Mayavadi is one who considers the body of the Supreme Personality of Krishna to be made of Maya, and who also considers the boat of the Lord and the process of approaching him, devotional service, to be Maya. The Mayavadi considers all the paraphernalia of devotional service to be Maya. Maya refers to material existence, which is characterized by reactions of fruitive activities. Mayavadis consider devotional service to be among fruitive activities. According to them, when Bhagavats, devotees, are purified by philosophical speculation, they come to the real point of liberation. Those who speculate in this way regarding devotional service are called Kutakikas, false logicians. And those who consider devotional service to be fruitive activities are called karma nishtas. Those who criticize devotional service are called nindakas, or blasphemers. Similarly, non-devotees who consider devotional activities to be material are called prashantis, and scholars with similar viewpoints are called adama paduyas. The Kutakinkas, Nindakas, Prashantis, and adama paduyas all avoid the benefit of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement of developing love of Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt compassion for them, and it is for this reason he decided to accept a sannyas order, for by seeing him as a sannyasi, they would offer him respects. The sannyas order is still respected in India, Indeed, the very dress of a sannyasi still commands respect from the Indian public. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas to facilitate preaching his devotional cult. Otherwise, although otherwise, he had no need to accept the fourth order of spiritual life. Om Gyantimidandasya Gyanadjana Salakaya Chaksunmalitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimakte Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Prachadine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pastyatya De Satarne Vanchakalpatarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Pevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is focused on getting various classes of people from different backgrounds and different categories of social, ecclesiastical, and we might say cultural categories to become Krishna conscious. So he was thinking how to reach different types of people. So here, says here, one of the main reasons he took sannyas, of course there are many, one of them is so he could be able to speak to the sannyasis. And you'll see that as it comes in the rest of this chapter. Lord Nityananda had no desire to get married, but he told Lord Nityananda, get married, and in the Grihastha ashram you could preach to the Grihasthas. So he sent, and Srila Prabhupada also sent different devotees in different categories to preach different types of people. For instance, in my personal life, I used to do college preaching, high school preaching, college preaching mostly. And I would be there speaking to the students. But I found, and this became evident after some time, that many of them found it hard to relate to what I was saying because of my lifestyle. Their lifestyle was completely different. And so when we saw, or when we had the experience that grihastas would go to students, especially in high schools or colleges, they would be more receptive because they could identify more with the lifestyle. So here we see that is how the reasons that Lord Chaitanya took sannyas was to become a sannyasi, and that way he could enter into the association of the sannyasis and convert them, become Vaishnavas, and he did, as you'll see from this chapter. It's quite interesting. 60,000 Mayavadis headed by Prakasananda Saraswati became Vaishnavas because of Lord Chaitanya. So preaching, time, place, and circumstance. Here we get a little bit of understanding of what is a Mayavadi. Devotees ask, well, what is a Mayavadi? One who worships Maya, who sees everything in relationship to Maya. What is not Maya for them is something you can't see, or something that he say, Jagat, what is he say? Satyam, Jagat Satyam, no. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mitram, that the spiritual realm is truth and everything in the material realm is false. That's one of their things. But Prabhupada would say that everything comes from Krishna, therefore there's no questions of anything being false, but his energies are working in different ways. So some are transforming, and that means they appear in different ways. Therefore, they're not false, but they're temporary as they appear and disappear according to these different situations. So here, Mayavadi is given a definition, and there's other categories. A Mayavadi considers the body of the Lord to be Maya. When Krishna comes to the material world, they say he takes on a material body. He is formless, he has no form. Therefore, in order to interact with the conditioned souls in the material world, he comes and takes on a material body that is made of matter, and therefore he's still the supreme because they see everyone as being the supreme, including themselves. And that is their philosophy, that the conditioned soul or the living entity in the material world is the fallen spiritual entity, which is the supreme entity, which is manifested in different ways. In other words, because everyone is spirit, everyone is ultimately the supreme spirit, because they don't divide spirit. What is that one terminology? Eka Brahmanishtam? No. Uh, um, um, uh, Jagat Nishta. Can't think it. Everything is one. Eko Brahma Vidyo Nasti. Nasti, yeah. What is the translation?
But there is just one Brahman, or the second.
Yeah, there's just one Brahman, there's no question of two. So when we say there is a supreme Brahman, and then there is a Brahman who is the manifestation of the living entity in the material world, they don't agree. They say Brahman cannot be divided. Brahma is not divided, but he manifests in different aspects, just like it says in the Bhagavad Gita. What is that verse from the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita? 15th chapter, verse number 7. Amaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana masastani indriyani prakritistani karshati. So when we quote that verse, they say, yes, that is true, but that's during the manifestation, but eternally it's not true. They give their own interpretations. And they see anything that produces results is Maya. And that's why they're called Mayavadis, one who were, they don't call themselves Mayavadi. What do they call themselves? Brahmavadis? No. No.
Sometimes they get triggered when they be called them Brahmavadis, think that trolling them by saying that.
So what do they call themselves?
They like to be called as Vedantists.
They call they're Vedantist. Yeah, Vedantist. But then Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that, what is that? I'll get it. You see. Vedanta vid, Vedakrit, Evachaham. Vedanta vid. Yeah. That I am the compiler of the Vedas, I'm the knower of the Vedas, and the Vedas are meant to know me. The supreme personality of Godhead, which is strewn throughout the Bhagavad Gita as the principle of the absolute truth. Impersonal aspect of the absolute truth is just a particle of the absolute truth, but it's not the complete understanding of the absolute. Vedanta Krit Veda Veda Vichaham. What is that verse? No.
15.
Oh.
15.
No, from the Bhagavatam, verse chapter first canto, second chapter. Paramatma iti Bhagavat.
going to point was
What is the first word in the
Vadanti Tattva.
Vedanti tat tadvad vidvat tad jnanam avayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaneti subjite. That the absolute truth is one, but it's realized in three features of itself. As Brahman, the all-pervading energy throughout existence, Paramatma, the localized manifestation of the Supreme Lord in the hearts of all living entities, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, in his personal forms. Not only Krishna, but all of the manifestations of the Godhead in their personal forms. But they all say that all of these are just manifestations of the external energy, and they take on them for a particular Lila. And therefore, they're not eternal, they're simply for a particular time and place, like that, and a material. Yeah, so they have so many misinterpretations of the absolute truth, like that. So Mahaprabhu here is he's eager to reach every category of living entities. So he takes the sannyas order and he presents himself as a humble Vaishnava who doesn't know much. And then he gets their attention. Once he gets their attention, and then he gradually starts to speak the absolute truth, like that. So here, Prabhupada's also saying the sannyas order is very much still respected in India today, even though there are many who dress in the form of sannyasis in order to take advantage of the Indian population. For instance, there's those who they're just poverty stricken, so they put on the dress of a sannyasi, and that way they can get donations and beg food. And sometimes even find a place to live. They go into a village, the villagers say, oh, there's a sannyasi, they'll invite them to their house for lunch, so they get something to eat. Yeah. So it's a cheating program like that. Or sometimes they dress up as, not so necessary sannyasis, but sadhus, and they go to holy places because they know women come to holy places, and then they meet women like that, and then they take advantage of women in the guise of a holy man. So there's a lot of cheating going on, but still, even though there is those who cheat and find different ways to use the reality in a wrong way, still there is a lot of respect for sannyasis everywhere in India. And it's even today, even after, Lord Chaitanya has disappeared 500 years ago, it's still there. Okay, and then Prabhupada mentions the various class of persons, such as the blasphemers, the fruit of activities persons, the false logicians, the what are they called, scholars who are Amaya Aparita Gyan. They're good at expert in juggling words and coming up with philosophies in order to enchant and attract people to some philosophy in order to gain followers and some pecuniary benefits. So there's a lot of there's more cheating going on, than there is actually reality. And we see that even today. And the biggest problem is usually the Mayavadis, or some aspect of spiritual orders that speak not about the absolute truth of the personality of Godhead. They present themselves as, great sadhus, and people follow these different sadhus. Just recently here in Ujjain, about a week ago, the devotees went to one group of trainees who were training for police. And so, and they came with Bhagavad Gitas. And then they presented Bhagavad Gita. And then there was 500 of these trainees who came, and we sold over 100 books right on the spot. The lady who organized it said that they had other groups who came who also spoke about Bhagavad Gita, but only when they heard our explanation did they understand it. They said they couldn't understand these other groups because they were mostly talking about themselves rather than Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. They want to attract people to become their followers. There's a lot of that cheating going on today. Yeah, so here we can see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's coming to show mercy even to those who are apparently in the spiritual order, but are actually a Mayavadi is like a police officer. I mean, it's like a thief who's dressed as a police officer. They're more dangerous. When you see a thief, then you can recognize him. But when you see a thief dressed as a police officer, you become easily fooled by that. So that's another form of cheating like that. And exposing these various types of adamas or groups that have philosophies or adharmas, they're more adharmas also. They're against religious principles. They're simply what we say opportunists in the name of spiritual practice. They don't really give real spiritual practice. They formulate some ideas. They talk about themselves having realizations of the absolute truth or themselves being incarnations of the Lord. And then they attract these people who have no knowledge, who are easily attracted by what we say, that type of rhetoric that sounds very interesting, but at the same time is simply nonsense. They know how to speak to enchant and treat people's minds. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's compassionate. He's not going to let them simply go on. He wants to bring them. And Prabhupada said it's our movement also, is to go out and to challenge these other groups to a discussion and defeat them and show actually that the absolute truth is a personality. He has a form, and our relationship with him is through serving him in the mood of devotion or in the mood of pleasing him. In other words, bhakti yoga. The 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita explains the different types of yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, stanga yoga, raja yoga, which is part of Astanga yoga, various types of yogas. Nowadays, what's big is asana. They call it yoga because they don't have much understanding of other yogas, so they call it, hatha yoga as yoga. It is a branch of the complete yoga system known as Astanga, but it's not separate. They have separated it and turned it into an exercise for good health or increasing sexual prowess. That's basically it. There are thousands and thousands of yoga groups all over the world now. Some of them are so ridiculous. When you hear about it, they call themselves yogis. There's one called beer yoga where they balance a bottle of beer on their head and do various exercises. And then in the middle of their exercises, they take a sip of the beer to put it back up there and continue their yoga. Most of the time they drop the bottle. I've seen it. You can go on YouTube and find his beer yoga. They have laughing yoga. They have a guy there, he just makes you laugh, and all you do is laugh, 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 laugh. And he speaks the most ridiculous things, and it's so ridiculous. You're not laughing at something funny, you're just laughing at him because he's so ridiculous. So this is Kali Yuga. So we're not surprised. This is the age of, hypocrisy. taking something that is actually beneficial and changing it around into something that is a franchise or something that can benefit a small group of people. But Mahaprabhu's movement is to reach everyone, everywhere, in every category through the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And that's how he did it. That's how he did it. He performed Harinam Sankirtan in Varanasi, and the word got back to the sannyasis that there's this sentimental sannyasi. He's singing and dancing with a bunch of sentimental followers. And then the Lord showed up at their place, and they criticized him and saying that you're actually, you're coming from the Bharati line. That's a very low line of sannyasis. We can change you into the Saraswati line, which is more elevated. There is 10 schools of sannyasis. I think there's 10 different ones, Bharatis and some Saraswati. What are some of the other ones?
Tirtha.
Tirtha. What else?
Puri.
Puri. Various categories. It's mentioned in one verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the different ashrams within this the Mayavadi order. Okay, so here's a little bit about how Lord Chaitanya is so Namo Mahavadanaya Krishna Prema Padayate. He's so magnanimous that he doesn't want to leave anyone out. The lowest of the low, anyone can come. Sometimes people criticize us for preaching to people in jail. They say these people have committed heinous crimes and they should be punished. We shouldn't give them any other opportunity for anything. But Lord Chaitanya is not like that. He wants to bring everyone to Krishna conscious. We have the example of Jagai and Madai, who were the biggest criminals at their time. The only thing they didn't do, they didn't blaspheme devotees, but they committed every other form of heinous crimes. We don't even want to talk about some of the things they did. It's so abominable. Even Yamaraj, when he got a report from his secretary, Chandragupta, of the pastimes and activities of Jagat and Madai, the Chandragupta said, we have hired 30 new scribes to write down all of their sins, and we're ready 1 month behind. We can't keep up. They commit so many sins. And when Yamaraj heard that, he fainted. It's impossible for Yamaraj to faint. He's the most sober person you can possibly meet. But he fainted when he heard about how Lord Chaitanya delivered these two criminals, the lowest of the low. And that's Lord Chaitanya. You see, he likes to go to the most unlikely and give them Krishna conscious, just to show the glories of the process of bhakti and his mercy, of course. Okay, so Anasuya, we can open it up for some discussion.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marge, for this amazing class and really powerful purport. As I was reading it, it definitely shows how compassionate and merciful Lord Chaitanya was when just to deliver souls, he would do anything and take any status or position. Was really, really amazing. Thank you, Marge. And we want to thank, we want to request the devotees, if you can turn on your videos, wherever possible, so that we can have each other's association. And if you have any questions, any comments, please do raise your hand so that I can call everyone in order and not miss anybody, or put in the chat and I'll be happy to read your question. Marge, I have a question. And as you were speaking about the various yogis and yogas and all that is out there, it's sad, because that's a sign that Kali Yuga is really progressing fast. But at the same time, people in general are so easily swept away by these. So, how can we devotees help such group of people not to be innocently or probably less intelligently, whatever the word is, to be swept away by such fools?
And Prabhupada did many Pandal programs in India during his time. And sometimes he would line himself up with other speakers who were Mayavadis or just general impersonalists. And Prabhupada would sometimes not be the first speaker. I was in Kurukshetra was one example. He was, and he would sit there and they would speak in Hindi and large groups of people, thousands, sometimes 10, 15,000 people would come. And Prabhupada would sit there getting angry, listening to the Mayavadis. And then when it came to our turn for presentation, Prabhupada just did kirtan. And everybody got up and started dancing. They forgot everything else, whatever the Mayavadi said, and they had an experience. So kirtan is the way to really cut through all of this nonsense. Because you see, and I had a personal experience when we did interfaith preaching. We had a Hindu night in that arena, and then that night the Mayavadis came over and took over the program. And we were there. I was there with Vasarup Damodar Maharaj. And the Mayavadis were giving all of their nonsense. They were also doing some nice bhajans too. I didn't understand any of their bhajans, nor their philosophy. And then after some time, we had the opportunity to make our presentation. So we just did kirtan. As soon as we did kirtan, all the Mayavadis left. And the people who were there was a few hundred or more people there. They got up and started dancing. We had kirtan, we had prasadam, and we sold some books.
So, Marge, that's how we can tell, right? People that leave are the Mayavadis, people that stay are the good ones. Is that how we can?
Well, the Mayavadis don't believe in kirtan. They do
Mm.
their own bhajans, but it's I don't know what they sing. Anyway, so hum. I am that. What does that mean? What is it? We don't know, but I am that. That what? I am that. That's what it means, right? I am that or something like that.
It has like three definitions.
Three definitions. So hum means what?
The first one is the one you said,
I am
that
that.
is me.
Yeah.
The second one is I am his.
I am this.
I'm his.
I'm his.
Yeah. And the third one is so aham is the name of Krishna, means the super soul, the heart.
Yeah. So
So
two of them.
that is the supreme personality of God.
That's the actual interpretation of the meaning, but the Mayavadis take it, I am this, right?
Yeah.
This what? I don't know.
Thank
So
you, Marge.
yeah,
Kirtan it is.
we have a devotee here who challenges Mayavadis all the time. He's sitting in the room and
Wow.
he has a lot of experience dealing with these rascals.
Marge, it's nice way you said these rascals. Absolutely, Marge. But
I,
thank you, Marge. So, Kirtan is the way to do it.
I think so.
Okay.
Because
That's really powerful.
if you try to debate them, you're just wasting time. Of course, you can't change them, but if you get an opportunity to inspire their followers by speaking something that will be logical, reasonable, and spiritual, you might, interest some of their followers, but them, they'll never change.
Thank you, Marge. Helped a lot. Thank you.
Prabhupada talks about the hard-headed materialists. Well, the Mayavadis are like this. So there's an argument between two people. One, they're sitting on the banks of the river and they're arguing. One is saying it was cut with a knife, and the other one's saying no, it was cut with a scissors. And the other one's saying no, it was cut with a knife. Yeah, cut with a scissors. So they're arguing. Finally, the knife guy was real strong, and he threw the other guy in the river. And while he's drowning, he holds his fingers up over his head and goes like this, makes the sign of a scissors. So that's the Mayavadis. They'll never change.
Don't, yes, Maharaj. It's, yes. Thank you, Marsh. That really helped. Thank you. Jai Radha Madan Mohan Prabhu. What a
Yeah,
wonderful, beautiful, powerful name.
he's sitting right here. He's in the room with
Oh,
me.
okay. Well, you can ask your question and we can hear you. I apologize.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisance until this week. Guru Maharaj, I have a question to ask. Like as we were discussing about the sannyas ashram, uh, I wanted to know. Like people say, like we have also heard that grahast ashram is also a sannyas ashram. So why is it being called sannyas ashram as well? And what are the things we can follow to maintain it and elevate in our bhakti life?
Well, there are four ashrams, and there's a distinction between Grihastha ashram and Sannyas ashram. But Prabhupada made one point, which was he was repeating Bhakti Vinod Thakur. It's called Grihastha Paramahansa. Grihastha Paramahansa. That a Grihastha, if they follow very strictly the principles of Grihastha life, they're as good as a sannyasi. But doesn't mean they're in the same ashram. They emulate some of the same qualities as a sannyasi. Although they're surrounded by activities that are part of living in the material world and they have a wife, still they're detached from all of it. Their main goal is to become Krishna conscious. So Paramahansa, Grihastha Paramahansa, you can hear it. You can look up that term, Prabhupada used it. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a nice question, Prabhu. I'm glad we could hear it. Thank you. Mark, there's a question in the chat from Rishabhadas. Hare Krishna, dear Gurudev and Vaishnavas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas because the sannyas order was respected in the society. Is it the same for devotees to get some titles that are respected in the society to be able to bring the Vedas and Shastra closer to people in general, titles like PhD and other, which are highly respectable in the West?
You want to answer that one? Bhavya?
So yes, Maharaj, I just want to read the question again.
Okay.
So the question is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas because the sannyas were respected. Is the same devotee? It is the same for devotees with some titles that are respected in society.
So I'm going to divert to one devotee here, whose name is Bhavya. He's going to answer the question.
Sure, Marge.
Guru Maharaj, I don't feel that it is necessary right now
He says he doesn't feel it's necessary right now.
because in those times, like it was very necessary for like because people had no acceptance that thing. But I feel that in today's time, people are more open-minded and they're really seekers in today's world and not like blind believers like in previous times. Like we don't need to use those tactics.
So in other words, it was time, place, and circumstance due to the time, climate. Right now, people are more open, so there's no need to somehow adopt these, what we say, titles or positions just for preaching. We come on as who we are.
I hope
Answer.
that was the answer. Rishabhadas, Prabhu, I hope that answered your question. But yeah, it's time, place, pretty much time, place, circumstances, what Bhavya Prabhu is telling through Maharaj, and Maharaj is telling to us, conveying to us.
He wants to add one more point to the.
Yes, please.
Guru Maharaj, like for example, during the time of Adi Shankaracharya, many people asked that why Vaishnavacharyas did not come and preach.
You can sit on the bed if you want.
No, it's okay. Where should I speak?
These are the.
So during the time of Adi Shankaracharya, so many people they asked why did Vaishnavacharyas did not come during that time and defeated Buddhists directly. why they had to wait for Adi Shankaracharya to first establish the Advaita philosophy, establish the authority of Vedas, and then debunk um, the Buddhist philosophy and Mayavad philosophy. So the answer to that is because during those times, no matter how many logics you give to the the Shunyavadis, the Buddhists, they will not accept it. They will not even understand what we are speaking. So during that time, it was very necessary to bring up that Advaita philosophy, which is pseudo Buddhist philosophy, Prachanam Bottom, and bring them back to the Vedas, make them accept the authority of Vedas, and once they accept Vedas as final truth, and now you attack them with logical reasoning and scriptural references, now they will be able to accept the Vaishnava philosophy because now they have accepted Vedas as authority, and now they can't just go back and reject it. So they just have to accept it, and that's how like Ramanacharya and Madhvacharya established the Vaishnava philosophy.
Was that clear?
Yeah, I did hear it, and I'm just checking to see if Rishabhadas is. It seems okay. He's continuing much. It seems like the Hare Krishna movement is not respected in the society.
What society are you talking about?
That was my next question to him. In the West, that's what I thought he was going to say. In the West.
That's generally true, but not an absolute thing. There are many areas where people don't necessarily practice, but they accept us as a bona fide religion. For instance, in the UK, we also get acknowledgments there. In India, we are widely accepted, and it's also growing in that area. And you can go to different pockets in different places and find acceptabilities in different areas. But in general, yeah, what he says has some truth. But
Because, sorry,
we're,
Marge.
we're preaching in different ways to different classes of people to ultimately bring them to Krishna consciousness.
Mhm.
And our main preaching is to distribute the holy name.
Mhm.
Yeah, keep doing what you're, the holy name and books, both of these are still powerful weapons for reaching the conditioned souls. And for
Because
Shakti.
Marge, if we were to look in the history of ISKCON, like like a few decades ago, like we've had great pure devotees of the Lord, like your god brothers, Tamakrisha Maharaj, who's got his PhD, Sridhana Maharaj got his PhD, Sadhuputta Prabhu got a PhD, and they used it all in preaching in the university levels and their books. And so would that be considered time, place, and circumstance, Maharaj?
That's for a select person. Yeah, you
Yes.
could include Garuda. He's also, and there's other
Yes.
devotees who have PhDs. Sariputta came to Krishna consciousness with a PhD.
Mm.
Tamal Krishna and Hridayananda Maharaj did it to preach to the scholarly class of people.
So going back to your answer, Marge, is time, place, and circumstance who they want to preach to, and that's what they pursued, right, Marge?
Also, Swayam Bhagavan Keshava Maharaj is also,
Yes, he's in Harvard University.
yeah, he's moving in that area also. So yeah.
Okay.
You made me do it.
Huh?
I also have a PhD. You made me do it.
Sri Devi wants to preach too.
Yes, she does. And I believe you told her too, back in the day, Maharaj, if I'm not mistaken.
Good, yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Marge. There's a follow-up question from Abhishek. Follow-up question from Rishabha Prabhu that nowadays devotees are doing B.Tech, M.Tech, I don't know these terms, CA, and other degree just for doing preaching because outside people become inquisitive to hear from a person who has sacrificed his highly qualified position and degree.
I don't understand the question.
I'm trying to say the same thing, March. I thought you would get get it, but I'm not getting it either. So Abhishek, what's your question on that? If you could clarify your question, please, that would help a lot. Thank you. March, I have a question while Abhishek is thinking. When you were reading the purport, March, Lord Chaitanya's compassion was so amazing that he was willing to take the sannyas ashram so that he could reach out to the Mayavadis. What is the lesson in that, March, that we as practicing devotees can take in terms of our service? Like do something that we have to do, to bring more devotees or preach. Like, how can we develop that compassion? Of course, we can't copycat the Supreme Lord, but how can we find or extract a lesson from, wow, how can I do more? And, to do, like, how can I change myself? Or, I don't know if I'm clear in my question, Marge.
Well, Prabhupada said, he said, tax your mind, but preach. In other words, think of ways to bring Krishna consciousness to different categories of people within society. So that's something that can be developed, something innovative like that, but without changing the foundation. And that is that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Yeah.
and all living entities are his eternal servants.
Mm, mm, mm.
But a lot of times we don't preach direct philosophy. We preach through kirtan.
Ah.
We preach through prasadam distribution. Those
Mm.
things, they attract people more so than philosophy. Philosophy will be something that can be introduced once you bring people in. Then you introduce the philosophy. Because generally, if you try to bring people in on the philosophy, generally they can't understand it. So we give them a book, let them read, and then maybe they'll get a little curious and come to the temple and associate with devotees. So there's many ways to do outreach, to do preaching. So many ways, through writing articles, through having yatras, to going on pilgrimages, to writing books. So many ways to preach. Um,
Thank you, Maharaj. I got distracted a little bit from another class that's happening in the temple. Marge, so Abhishek is asking, so his question is it good that devotees have these qualification? And
whatever, well, the principle is use whatever qualifications you have in the service of the Lord. The qualification has been given to you by the mercy of the Lord. So to use it in the service of the Lord, then it becomes an opportunity for your advancement or for spreading Krishna consciousness. But Prabhupada didn't encourage people to go back to universities to get degrees so they could preach. He said, if you're in the schools, finish and then practice Krishna consciousness. But he didn't really encourage people to go and join universities and then become preachers.
Mhm.
He shot that down a few times when people wanted to do that.
Thank you, Maharaj. Any other questions from devotees? Um, from this, yes, Sridevi, go right ahead, Sridevi, and then I'll go to Amritanam.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I am thinking about this line in the purport which says, Lord Chaitanya did not accept any of the four ashrams, any of the four. He said, I am Gopi Bhattu Padakamalayo Das Das and Das, like that, identifying simply as a servant of God, servant of the servant of the servant, etc. But at the same time, in order to organize our human society properly, Srila Prabhupada did want Varna Ashram society, Daivi Varnashram society. So how we can understand that these varnas and ashrams are necessary for our spiritual progress, but ultimately we have to go beyond this to understand we are ultimately only servants of Krishna.
Yeah, there's one thing in playing the role, and there's another thing in your identity. Lord Chaitanya is talking about identity. You could play the role of a sannyasi, a temple president, or whatever body you have or whatever activity you have, but that's not you. You are Jiva Sarupai Krishna and Nityadas. That's your identity. That's what he's saying when he speaks that statement. Gopi Bhatter Padakamalayur Dasada, that I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the damsels of Raj. So he's talking about identity and not about activity. So we organize our society with various categories for the sake of development, sake of synergy within the movement, as there's a variety of the different services. But that's called the social aspect of the society. It's necessary for carrying on the business. There are people who are that do preaching work. There are people who do managing work. There's people who do work with animals and banking and others. So many different categories. So that's for the organization of the society. That's all. Doesn't mean that's you. Lord Chaitanya's statement helps us to clear up any false identity that we may have adopted, or temporary identity that we may have adopted. Mhm.
Thank you, Sri Devi. Amritanam, you're next.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances of glories to Srila Prabhupada, to the wonderful Vaishnavas present online and offline. So I have two questions. One is the follow up of what just Sri Devi Mataji asked. So I'll ask that first. So when we talk about Varnashram, Varna means it is related to action or the karma, and then we are talking about the going to our identity. So how do we connect our Varna to direct us towards our identity?
That requires some training, and also requires training and what is it called? Identity, understanding one's identity, and working accordingly. So Prabhupada's program for developing that was Varnashram College. That the Brahmins would train everyone else in the different varnas. Based on the training, they could understand a person's nature or a person's swadharma. And then by evaluation, then they give designation. A designation means you serve in this way, you serve in that way. Because in this age, Kalo Sutra Sambhavan, everyone really is not born into their actual swadharma. It's rare, but in this age, most people are affected by the lower modes of material nature. Therefore, there has to be a system of education. And that's called Varnashram College. Prabhupada spoke about that. Training. We do training also in our temples to train people in the philosophy, and we also guide them in their services. We have a loose form of Varnashram in our society, but it's not synchronized where it's working as a holistic program. People are working in some cases according to their varna and serving in that way. but there is no general organization where all four of them are working together in a cooperative way to bring about a holistic presentation of all of the services needed in the form of devotional activities. So Prabhupada wanted the organized program, which will pick up those who are, when you say not sure of how best that they can participate in Krishna consciousness. And they just take any service because it's available. Or the leaders in our society designate people to do things because it's needed. It's not about the individual, it's about the service. So we sacrifice sometimes the individual's benefit for the sake of the service. And the person is doing service, but they're not really developing so much. So in order to maximize the benefit of one's devotional service and to contribute to a holistic society, the system of Daibi Varnashram, not just Daibi Varnashram, was Prabhupada's vision for the future of our society.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yes, I personally, when I observe, I see that even within society or even outside the society, people are majorly lost because they have not undergone the training according to their varnas. They,
People are inspired by material gain. That's why they take up a service.
hmm. Okay. Okay, Guru Maharaj. And my second question is, if you, if I particularly talk about India, where I constantly go through this thing. So in India, every second person you will either see either he's a Mayavadi, either he's an impersonalist, either he's a Shaivite, either he is a demigod worshipper, or in worst case he'll be Upper Sampradaya. So practically,
You can continue with your list.
so practically, when I feel like I'm preaching
Followers
something.
of Charvak Muni, they're also there.
Yeah, so encounters with all these kind of
we call it
sectors.
we call it a spiritual kitchery, right?
But
When
then
you
Guru
eat,
Maharaj,
when you eat that, you get constipated because nothing benefit comes out.
so Guru Maharaj, where is the scope of compassion in amongst all these things? I mean, among this spiritual khichdi, I can say.
What was your last statement?
Where is the scope of compassion that we can show amongst these kind of spiritual khichdis?
The thing is, they're not happy. They're adopting something just because it's either fashionable or it's far coming down from their family line or whatever. So our thing is to hold programs, invite people to come and chant the holy name, and take prasadam. We had that program in Mumbai at the beginning of October. You came. You see how many outside people came to that program?
Yeah,
Thousands,
Kirtan.
thousands and thousands of outside program. And they didn't, they just came because it was a spiritual program. Well, many of them started to actually dance and, understand more about the process. We sold so many books also during that time. That was that was 4 days of kirtan and prasad and in front of the deities too. There was a temple with full altars of 3 deities. Powerful. It was was so crowded, there was no room to dance. We had to push people out of the way and start dancing, and somehow it worked. That was the only way we could dance. And that temple is big, huge. Thousands of people were there. Were you there? Or Sri Devi, did you come to
Yeah.
that?
Kirtan Mela,
Yeah, Kirtan Mela in
5th to 8th November.
huh?
5th to 8th November.
October.
October. Yes. Right.
Yes,
So
Guru Maharaj.
we have programs like that. That's planting some seeds. We make sure we have our books there so we can also leave them with something.
Hmm. So Kirtan and the Prasadam is the first thing they should be approached with.
It's more effective in this age. Of course,
Hmm.
we continue with our seminars and programs and preaching, writing books and distributing books. But what attracts people mostly is kirtan.
I remember Maharaj Bhakti Swami one time made a comment, if everything fails, prasadam is the weapon. He said in one of his classes years back in New Vrindavan. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, they're happy.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you, Amritanam.
Thank you, Maharaj.
And we learned a new term. Wait, where did Maharaj go? Oops. Where did Maharaj? Okay, we gotta wait for Maharaj to come back. Somehow we just lost his connection. But because of your mercy, Amritanam, we learned a new term from Maharaj, spiritual khichdi.
Should I keep something
We have to, what's the voice?
just 1 second. Audio language.
Oh, there's Maharaj.
Yes,
Anasuya, can you hear us?
Yes, Maharaj. We were just wondering what happened, but yes, I can hear you, Maharaj.
My computer decided to turn off.
Kali Yuga, Maharaj.
No, he's a Mayavadi.
I was about to say that, but I don't want to say it.
I'm gonna have to trade him in.
Maharaj, probably the computer can also use some kirtan.
I can't feed him any prasadam because he looks like he's not able to appreciate that part.
Yes, Maharaj. I probably if devotees can do kirtan around it and circumambulate, and probably it might come back, Maharaj.
Okay, we're getting there.
Thank you, Maharaj. I'm going to see if there's any questions. Okay. If there are no questions, devotees, Maharaj, would you like to end with a round of chanting? Maharaj, you're on mute. Your computer's back on, Maharaj. Just by your
Yeah.
potency, Maharaj.
No, by somebody else's bones.
Which was more powerful than kirtan, sounds like it.
Bhavya, you had a question earlier, huh?
No.
Yeah, so we have Bhavya, he's here.
Oh, okay, sure, Maharaj. Yes, sure.
Awesome.
Maharaj, in the and
Yeah.
in the purport that we were reading, that is given that there are Kutar keys, there are partial days, and like choosing like Kutar keys, partial days, and more to them. I don't remember
The blasphemers,
yeah, the Nindakas.
Indicas, the Adharma Padukyas.
Yeah. So Maharaj, like they all fit, like Mayavadi fits in all those criteria, right?
Mm. So Bhavya is saying those 5 Adharma groups that were mentioned in the purport, the Mayavadis fit within all 5 of them. Yeah, it's very rare if you can find people who are actually personalists, who worship the supreme personality of Godhead. It's rare. It doesn't seem to be rare because Prabhupada started the ISKCON society and it's spreading everywhere. When you go outside of ISKCON, you don't find much. I mean, the Sri Sampradaya is there, Madhva Sampradaya is there, but everything is in India. It's not outside.
That's why when Amritanam was mentioning the list and that she finds in India, I said to myself, I guess I'm better in the US than I am with the spiritual khichdi in India, as you called it, Maharaj.
There's advantage of being in the West. Nobody knows about all of these wrong ways of doing things. They just do it wrong anyway, but they have no label for it. That's they don't label it. They just don't know what it is.
Blind follow the blind, right, Maharaj?
Yeah. Yeah. Is anything else you want to add? Bhavya wants to add something else.
Yes, Maharaj.
As you were quoting that reference from Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Maya Vansha Jiva.
Yeah, Mamai Vamsa Jiva Loke.
Yeah. So in that time it's given Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So
Yeah,
Mayavadis interpret in a certain way because they believe that Jiva is a upadhi, means like it's a position.
It's a designation.
Yeah, it's a designation. Yeah. So they say that when it is given Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, it means that the Jiva is Sanatan in the
spiritual
ontological reality and not in the way of
yeah. They take very clear statements that Krishna speaks and change the meaning around by reinterpreting the verse. My Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So they say the Jiva actually is not eternal, right?
Yeah.
He's just manifested during the creation. Mm. And Prabhupada also addresses that directly. He says the same thing, how they take things and turn it around. But Krishna uses the word Sanatana, which means eternal. That means in all aspects of existence, during the creation and in the manifestation. And the jiva remains always separate. Because the absolute truth consists of finite and infinite aspects. And the finite aspects of the absolute truth of the jivas. So jivas help to make up the absolute truth, or are included in the holistic understanding of the absolute truth that is both finite and infinite. Krishna is infinite and the jivas are finite, but they're also of the same nature as the infinite. But because they're jiva, they have a tendency to become overcome by a lower energy called the Bahiranga Shakti, or the material energy.
Thank you, Maharaj. We
So
have two more questions. I'm sorry, Maharaj.
Good news is you're around eternally. Some people say, "Oh my God, I'm eternal. That's miserable." Not eternal in that body you're in, that's for sure. But you're eternal.
Thank you, Maharaj. We got two more questions, Maharaj, by your permission. After that, if we would like to wrap it up with chanting. I just got Suzanne and I think one by Rishaba about Christianity, something like that. So Bhakti and Suzanne will go to you, and then I'll go to Rishaba. Prabhu? Go ahead, Bhakti, Susanna. I'm assuming BHN means Bhakti. I'm just assuming from the old days of ISKCON. That's what we call.
Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you and all the devotees here and everywhere. I would like to ask two questions actually, somehow connected to each other. First of all, the first question I had in my mind regarding yesterday's lecture and today's one also, somehow they are quite connected to each other. How to stay sincere as a person who wants to do devotional service and stay sincere, but I guess a lot of souls think that they are sincere, but they completely not sincere. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been here. And I used to. The other question is that I used to be in contact with Mayavadi singers who chanted every kind of mantras, and what I have seen in them is that they literally just fearful of taking another step to be a Vaishnava because they have been a bit affected, and I guess that they have already eaten sometimes prasadam, because do you know who I'm talking about? All these people
Well,
who
yeah,
go through the world and
the
sing mantras.
point is they don't want to surrender. That's the point.
Yes, and
They,
I
they,
guess that
they want to do their own thing. That's what all of these philosophies and Mayavadis and all of these different groups, they can do their own thing. But Krishna says, you do my thing. They don't want that. And they don't want to surrender. They don't want to accept an authority. They want to be their own authority, or they choose their own authority that aligns themselves with their own ideas. It's just the same thing that causes the living entity to come to the material world, want to be independent of the Lord. Now it's manifested even while they're independent, even in more. They don't want to, again, go under authority. Or they pick an authority that satisfies their desires. Yeah. Krishna says, Saradharma Parikshajam. He said, forget that. I'm out, I'm not into that. You're okay, I'm okay, yatabat, tatabat. Right? Everybody's okay. I'm spiritual, you're spiritual, we're all spiritual. We have different ways of expressing our spirituality, but we're all spiritual. Haribo. Potpourri, Kitchery, and what else is there? They do.
how to
But
stay sincere, Maharaj.
how to
Please
stay
advise
sincere?
me.
Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Sastri Har, Lavamata, Sarva Sangha,
Right.
Sarva. Without the association of devotees, Prabhupada said, you cannot become Krishna conscious. Forget it.
Mhm.
Take association of devotees regularly. Devotees inspire you in Krishna consciousness. They give you opportunities for service. They purify you. They guide you, in the process. And you develop friendship in the society of devotees, which is necessary because we are sentient beings. We cannot simply be, cave dwellers. we association with devotees. Just every day, take association with devotees, not just once in a while, every day.
Right.
Then sincerity will develop because of the atmosphere creates that sincerity. Try to do it alone, your mind will jump in there and tell you all kinds of things. That you are sincere, but you don't need anybody else. They'll tell you what to do. I'm a sincere fool. son. Prabhupada said, three things are important. Association, association, association. He said that. He said three things, and he said the same thing three times. Why? To make a point. When you say something thrice, that means there's no consideration. When you say something once, there may be a question. Twice, there still may be some doubt. When it's three times, it's an absolute principle. Harinama, 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 Eva Kevalam, alone, Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva. No other way. Three times. Prabhupada uses many examples to illustrate that. A mother says to the child, do this, do this, do this. Three times.
Yes.
Emphasize association. Association, association, and especially those devotees who are more advanced. But we're afraid to get out of our little cocoon because it looks like there's something out there that might interfere with our cocoonism, you know? Association. It's so important. It's fundamental. Even if you don't have much activity, if your association with devotees, you can feel protected, you can feel secure, you can think of Krishna a lot easier and also engage in service. Association. That will build sincerity. When sincerity is there, then association will be something that is natural and doesn't have to be what we say developed or sought after. Association. We are what's the word?
Social animals.
Social animals. Yeah. We're mostly right now we're animals, but we want to become social animals. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Very nice question,
No
Bhakti.
other alternative. Don't look for another alternative.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
And Lord Chaitanya, when Sanatana Goswami came to Lord Chaitanya, what did he say? He said, what is the first principle, or what is the duty of a Vaishnava? And Lord Chaitanya said, Asat Sangha Tyaga e Vaishnava Achar. Asat Sangha. Give up the association of the materialist and take to the association of the spiritualist. First principle. That was the first thing he said. This is the initial stage. Then everything else will follow. That's why we have a society. It's the International Christian Society of Krishna Consciousness. It's not the International Society of my house in my backyard. It's
Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Understood.
Thank you, Maharaj. Wonderful. I think Maharaj, you summed everything up so beautifully in repeating it three times to all of us. And you rubber stamped it, Maharaj. Thank you so much for
yeah,
bringing this whole topic to closure.
Lord Chaitanya said it, Prabhupada said it, the Acharyas say it, everyone says it.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Maharaj, would you like to end with a round of chanting since you brought the whole culmination with three rubber stamping?
There's one thing I like about you. And there's many things. There's one thing I like about you, but there's many things I like about you. You like to chat.
It's because of you, Maharaj. It's because your mercy, Maharaj. It's because of your mercy.
I don't have any mercy. You're the one that's asking me to chant. I'm just sitting here.
It's because, Maharaj, you helped me to remember that I should chant attentively.
Wait, you want to get into a japa session? Did everyone bring their beads with them?
I'll bring.
You want to run and get your beads?
Yes,
All right.
I'll bring one.
Everyone, you have your beads? You can use your fingers. Okay, whatever you have to do. Jai Sri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasari Gaur, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. You want a new one? I'll give you another one. You want another feedback? You have one? I'll use that one. It's dirty. It's really dirty. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. If you need another one, just ask me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram. Hari Hari Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hari Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna. Hari 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hari 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hari 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hari 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hari 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hari 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hari Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hari Hari Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hari Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hari Hari Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hari Hari Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hari Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hari Hari Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hari Hari Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. What did you? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
We would request devotees that since March has finished chanting and ended the class, we will also end the class here, and we thank all of you for joining us. Vanchakaptibhyascha kripasindabevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Candramauli Swami ki jai. Have a wonderful day, devotees. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hari Hari Bol.